Good morning, students, and welcome you all to the next session of investment analysis and portfolio management. In this session, we are going to discuss again another topic of Unit 2, which is technical analysis. Now, technical analysis is another approach for security analysis. As we have already discussed in one of the previous session, that fundamental analysis and technical analysis are the two approaches which are widely used for security analysis and investment decision. In this session, we are going to discuss what is technical analysis and how it is used for investment decision making by the investors. So technical analysis, first of all, is just the opposite of fundamental analysis. In fundamental analysis, we discussed that it is carried out by the help of three types of analysis, which is economic, industry and company analysis, where specifically the share prices are analyzed on the basis of intrinsic value. So fundamental analysis refers to the calculation of intrinsic value, and then the share price are analyzed on the basis of that intrinsic value in order to obtain buy and sell signal. But on the contrary, if we talk about technical analysis, it is a method of evaluating securities by analyzing the statistics which is generated by market activity, such as past prices and volume. So in technical analysis, there is no need to measure intrinsic value, but instead the investors, they use charts and other tools to identify the patterns that can suggest future activity of the shares in the market in order to take investment decision. So technical analysis basically is a type of analysis where the investment decisions are undertaken on the basis of the study of charts, graphs and patterns in order to identify the buy and sell signal in the stock market. So technical analysis, in other words, it also formulates the buying and selling strategies, but strictly on the basis of observation of the charts, graphs and patterns in the stock market. There are various indicators of technical analysis where the investors, they analyzes the relationship between the price volume and supply demand for the overall market of individual stocks on the basis of past prices and past volume. When the stock market shows an upswing, it means that the share traded on the market are greater, and during the downswing the share traded are smaller. So on the basis of this pattern, the technical analysts, they take buying and selling decisions in the stock market. There are certain assumptions of technical analysis. First one is market discounts everything. The interaction of demand and supply determine the market value of the stock. Price represents fear, hope and inside information of the market players. Inside information regarding the shares may support the prices. On the other hand, loss of earnings may reduce the prices. These factors may cause a shift in the demand and supply and change the market trends. The second is price moves in trends. The price always moves in trends except for minor deviations. Price create patterns, increasing or decreasing, whatever is the case. It continues for some times and then reverses. So this is another assumption, that price always moves in trends. And the last one is history tends to repeat itself. In a rising market, investors are positive and purchase shares in large volume during the prices are higher. The downward trend, investors sell and push the share prices below. So technical analysts believe share prices predict the future, because when the share prices are higher, the investors, they tend to purchase the price and vice versa. So therefore history tends to repeat itself. Now these three assumptions are the foundation of technical analysis, and whenever any indicator is used under technical analysis for investment decision making, these three assumptions are always present, are always there as a part of the fundamentals of analysis in the case of technical analysis. The distinction between fundamental and technical analysis. The first distinction is that fundamental analysis is long term in nature, technical is short term in nature. Fundamental, it adopts a buy and hold policy, but in technical, it believes in making quick money. Fundamental distinguishes between current income and capital gains, but technical analysis, it does not distinguish between current income and capital gains because it is basically for short term duration. Fundamental analysis, it forecasts stock prices on the basis of economics, industry and company statistics, but in technical, the forecast is on the basis of studying the charts, patterns and graphs. Uses tools of financial analysis and statistical forecasting techniques. It uses the changes of financial variable besides some quantitative tools. So these were some of the distinction, some of the differences between fundamental and technical analysis. Tools of technical analysis. The first one is Dow theory. Now Dow theory is a theory which explains the movement of indices in the market. Now Dow developed a theory which was based upon three assumptions. The first one is that no single individual can influence the market. That is, this theory suggests that a single investor cannot basically change or create fluctuation in the stock prices. But yes, if the individual investor can influence the daily prices, if the investment is, that is the buying and selling, the transactions are actually in large quantities, then the single investors, they can influence the market and the market prices. Market discounts everything, like we have already discussed before, that as one of the assumption of technical analysis, that market discounts everything, that is market adjusts for everything. As soon as any change happens in the market, it is automatically reflective in the share prices. So market discounts everything means that market, whenever any information occurs in the market, it comes into the market immediately absorbs it. It is actually, the information is automatically reflective in the share prices. And the last is theory is not infallible, that is the theory is not foolproof. These are just the assumptions, and on the basis of these assumptions technical analysis is carried on. And this theory is not foolproof, that is, it is not ensuring, or these theory do not ensure that the returns will be maximized and the investors will be able to beat the market just on the basis of this kind of analysis of security decision making. Dow theory further elaborates that there are three types of market movements. First is major primary trend, which lasts for 1 or more year. Secondary trend, which moves against the primary trend for up till certain month, and minor movement is lasts for some hours to 1 day. So these are some of the three types of movements in the market on the basis of Dow theory. So primary trend, as the Dow theory has suggested, is a trend which is for longer duration, and the trend can be both upward movement or downward moving. So if we talk about the upward movement of the share prices, it has three phases. Dow theory explains that there are three certain phases that leads to upward movement of the share prices, which is one of the primary types of primary trend, and it can last for up to an year or more. So the first phase here is the phase of improved earnings. So when the company it actually reports improved earnings, and the earnings which is basically getting higher and it is increasing day by day, it marks the first stage of upward movement in the primary trend. The second one is the investors when they buy the stock on the basis of the current demand in the market. As soon as the demand and the profitability of the company's share increases, more and more investors, they are inclined to buy the stock, which further moves the share price in the share movement, the share prices into an upward direction. And the last phase here is the phase of euphoria, that is the aggressive buying of the stock. The investors, when they see a pattern that the stock is traded tremendously in the market, they are inclined and they shift their interest towards that particular stock which is showing an upward movement in the share prices. So this is the third stage, which further leads to an increase in the stock prices. And the three stages with improved earnings and increased transactions of buying the shares further leads the stock market to go in upward direction. Similar is the case in the downward movement. This is also a type of primary trend where the stock prices are continuously going down. This is the case of bear market. That is when once the share price start falling, the share price falls because of the decreased demand of the shares and the panic that has been created on the minds of the customer and the minds of the investors. So it leads to a primary trend in the market which lasts for about a year or more, which is a result of less profitability on the parts of the company, the less demand of the shares in terms of the investors, and the panic that has been created in order to cope up with the distress selling which is happening into the market. Market correction is another phenomena which is the part of primary trend. Market correction refers to a change in the stock price from its recent peak state. Now this market correction is a phenomena which is very very crucial in primary trend, because when market correction will not be there, either the stock will continuously move in a straight line upward, or it will continuously move in a downward straight line without any fluctuation. So usually a market correction occurs when there is a decline of 10% or more in the price of security, such as individual stock, currency market, indices, or any other asset which is traded on the stock market. So this correction is a result of minor fluctuation that happens into the primary trend. Otherwise, if the stock is continuously move up, or the stock will continuously move down in a straight diagonal line without the market correction. So in order to show a correct pattern, in order to give a break to increasing prices or give a break to the decreasing prices, market correction is very very crucial for the stock exchange and the movement of share prices. The next type of tool is support and resistance level. Support level is the price where considerable demand for the stock is expected to prevent further fall in the price level, and the resistance level is the level where further rise in the price of the stock or the shares are prevented, in order to basically keep the prices in check and to prevent any price to fall below an average level and to rise above an average level. These two, support and resistance level, are set in the stock market. So this is the support and resistance level, where you can see this is the level which is known as support level, and this is the resistance level. So support and resistance level are basically, like we have already discussed, is the level to prevent the stock from moving and increasing beyond a average level or decreasing beyond an average level. So this is resistance level and this is support level, where further fall is prevented, and this is the resistance level where further increase of the share price is restricted. Gaps. Now gap is a point where the scripts has not changed hands. That is, this is a level where trading of stocks has not taken place. If the prices are moving upwards and high of any day is lower than the next day's low, a gap occurs, which is a bullish gap. And whenever a gap occurs in the bear phase in the market, it refers to a bearish gap. So this is a chart which further elaborates and gives an example that what a gap is. So this is a bullish gap and this is a bearish gap. So this is a gap, as we have already discussed, a gap which here is a place where the scripts has not changed hands, that is, transaction of the shares has not taken place. So in the case of bear market, bearish gap will be there. In the case of bullish market, bullish gap will be there. So this is an downward movement of the share prices. So this is a bearish gap, and this is the upward movement and upward gap in the share price movement. So this is a bullish gap. Then charts. There are three types of charts which is most commonly used in the technical analysis, like line charts, bar charts, points and figure charts. So this is another types of charts which is used for the study of the growing patterns or the study of the downward movement in the patterns of the share prices in order to take investment decisions. Then these are other types of chart which is used, for example, V formation, head and shoulder, inverted head and shoulders, cup and handle, tops and bottoms, flag and pennant, triangles, wedge, rounding bottom and candlestick charts. All these names suggest the exact figure which actually exists in the market, and these figures are used by the technical analyst in order to take the buy and selling signals. And of course these charts are used by only professional investors, because the retail investors, they find it very very hard to understand that how this tool is used for for the investment decision making in the market. So these charts and patterns are usually undertaken by the technical analysts, the professional analyst, in order to take investment decisions. The next is volume of trade. Volume of trade basically refers to, here the trading volumes are considered for the analysis. So the investors, they basically analyze the trading volumes of the shares in the market, and on the basis of that volume they take investment decision. Like for example, if we talk about the bull market, then large volume with rise in the price is known as bull market, and large volumes with the fall in price is the bear market. So in order to identify that which of the type of market the stock market is currently in, they analyze the past volumes of trades, past volumes of transactions, and on the basis of those transactions, the numbers, the quantities of volume, the investment decisions are undertaken. So significance of volume in the case of volume of trade is, volume confirms the trends, it confirms the chart patterns, and it basically leads to generating an idea about the price movements in the future. Next is breadth of the market. Breadth of the market refers to the advances and declines that occur in the market. So here the advances and declines are used in order to calculate the AD ratio, which is known as the advances declines ratio. So advances are basically the number of shares whose price have increased, and the declines are the number of shares whose prices have decreased from the previous day's trading. So on the basis of these two these two factors, AD ratio is calculated by the investors, and then it is compared with the market index. The AD ratio is compared with the market index in order to find out that whether that investment should be made, the share should be invested, it should be purchased in the market or not. So it is known as breadth of the market. Moving average. Now moving average basically is another tool which is kind of appropriate when we talk about a technical analysis, because market, they do not rise or fall in the straight line. It always shows certain kind of fluctuations. So in order to cater to that fluctuation and to be more precise in the analysis process, the moving average is calculated for the share prices. So what the investors, they do, they basically calculate the moving average of the share prices on the basis of past data which is available to the investors in order to take investment decisions. So it is used, this moving average is used to study the movement of the market as well as individual securities. So this moving average is calculated and it caters to the kind of all the movements, all the fluctuations which are interrupted by the trends in the market for an individual security, in order to again take buy or sell signal in the stock market. The last is Elliott wave theory. Elliott wave theory is another theory which was developed by Elliott Wave in the year 1920s, and this theory also explained that stock market, the prices in the stock market, it behave in repetitive cycles, and it discovered that market cycles are an result of investor psychology in the stock market, and therefore investors, they show a certain type of psychology, they depict certain kind of behavior while indulging into the buying and selling of securities, and therefore the securities, they always show some trends, and the trends are also repetitive in nature. So, and these trends were referred to as waves by Ralph Nelson Elliott, and on the basis of these predictions, these assumptions, these patterns which the investors, they show in the stock market, he came up with the wave theory. And this wave theory is similar to the Dow theory that we have already discussed in the beginning of the session as the first tool of technical analysis. So this is how Elliott wave theory is also used as one of the major for investment decision making in the market. The last is criticisms of technical analysis. The first is difficult in interpretation. Yes, technical analysis factors are very very difficult to interpret. The reason being that it is much more complicated to derive a certain conclusion on the basis of just seeing the charts and patterns, then to calculate certain quantitative values for comparison. Frequent changes, yes, the graphs, the patterns, it frequently changes on the basis of the number of transactions that the investors they conduct, they actually indulge in on a daily basis. Unpredictable changes, the price changes on the basis of the investor psychology. The changes are unpredictable in nature. So the fluctuations, the upward downward movement of the share prices, they are always unpredictable, and therefore it is very very difficult to gauge the changes and the stock variations, the fluctuations on the basis of technical analysis. Less precise tool, less precise tools in a way, technical analysis is considered as a less precise tools because of the fact that it only depends upon the study of charts and graphs. It does not involve any kind of calculation, any kind of solid numbers or solid figures in order to compare the market prices or the real worth of the shares. And the last one is no one indicator is infallible, that is no indicator of technical analysis is foolproof, in a way that every technical analysis indicator is based upon certain assumptions, and assumptions don't always works whenever we talk about real stock market and real transaction scenario on the part of the investors. So these are certain drawbacks of the drawbacks and the criticisms of technical analysis, which basically gives a conclusion that fundamental analysis is much more precise tool and much more easier tool as compared to the technical analysis tools for investment decision making. So when we talk about real life scenario, real world scenario and practicality of the two approaches, the fundamental and technical analysis, fundamental analysis is most widely used by the investors due to the reason that first of all it is very very easy to conduct, and second, it gives some solid figures for the comparison on the part of the investors, which is much more easier to understand. So fundamental analysis is therefore much widely used in the case of investment decision making because of its easy to understand and because of it is easy to calculate and conduct on the stock market. But on the other hand, technical analysis also is a tool which is used very widely by technical analysts and by professional investors in the market for taking investment decisions. Thank you.